Hi, this is Berta, a clinical hypnotherapist and a trainer. And in the previous short video, I emphasized a bit the importance of communicating with a distressed individual that you are supporting before inducing a trance state, which, as I mentioned, could be crucial due to the implications that may arise from unintentionally overlooking the moments of distress, even with the best intentions to calm the client down first. In many of my other videos, I emphasize the significance of the conversation, or in other words, the talking part in a therapeutic setting in hypnotherapy. It's important to note, though, that no session in organic conversation in hypnotherapy looks alike. While problems may appear similar, the sessions themselves differ very much, whether with a new client or even with the same client across multiple sessions, though multiple sessions really mean something else in this kind of format. So, in this video, I want to highlight the importance of listening. Like not the active listening per se, but more of an attentive listening where you do not ask any follow-up question, or if no need, also no encouraging comments or metaphors altogether, but holding back and not speaking at all at times. And these are times when, after a follow-up question, for example, related to the presenting problem, of course, the clients drift somewhere within to find an answer, meaning it is elicited a deep thinking state. It can be very crucial to not interrupt at these times because the client may be on the brink of a significant realization in that moment or about to find a resource that could help them. Interrupting out of curiosity during these moments can disrupt that process. So perhaps an encouragement word or two, but best is not to speak altogether. So I invite you to explore this idea of allowing yourself to be more comfortable with not speaking, or in other words, like be silent during these moments and only resume when you see the client is about to come back to you and share something, or in these moments when you notice this, you ask for feedback then. Now, in organic conversation in hypnotherapy, this can happen a lot once you learn to notice the natural unconscious cues your client is expressing. And through those cues, you allow a deep hypnotic state to take place, sometimes by holding back, and other times by expressing more curiosity. So there are many scenarios how and when to allow one or the other way to take place. And I can't possibly cover those all in a video. But in the training, the way students learn is through direct practice, application, and or demonstration. However, since I'm mentioning this, for illustration, let's consider a simple example from everyday life again. Let's say when talking to a friend, they might suddenly remember something during this conversation, something important, and say, please hold that thought, I'll forget. So they express their idea, and suddenly everything starts to make more sense. So this is an instance of active conversation and listening. However, is contrasting with more attentive listening about what I spoke a bit earlier. And why I say allow yourself to be comfortable with not needing to speak? Well, because not speaking when the other person is speaking or listening when the other person is speaking, although not everybody is that capable of that and needs, for example, to be trained if that is something they need in their daily job, especially. But listening when the other person is not speaking, people can feel very uncomfortable with that and have that urge to break the silence. But in therapy, it can make a big difference if you can do that. Now, one more illustration, and that's, for example, picture a moving vehicle versus a stationary one. Let's say the moving vehicle represents a thinking mode, while the stationary vehicle, a firm belief or a conviction that leads to conclusions. You see, firm conclusions or assumptions. Now, when the vehicle is just getting on the road for a certain destination, and when it's in motion, it's easy to steer the wheel towards the desired destination. If we are uncomfortable with silence during the therapy, it's like hitting the brakes suddenly, causing the vehicle to park for no reason when it just got on the road and delay the arrival at the destination. Now, hope these examples are not too strange and could illustrate the concept effectively. So sometimes we need to interrupt a thought, but we must also recognize when it's beneficial to allow thoughts to flow freely and not interrupt. So something else that happens as a byproduct from allowing these moments to develop is an opportunity for the individual that we are supporting to have some kind of a reference point to know how to be with something that could have, helped them before, but they were not comfortable staying in that kind of state, or avoiding it altogether. In order for it, for them to face something or to resolve something or simply, be able to handle a situation, but they didn't have any reference point on how can they do that, or simply didn't know how without this kind of possibility, or in other words, if you look at the work of Dr. Dan Siegel, this way people can learn to expand their window of tolerance, or in other words, building resilience skills. So in times of distress, they are better equipped to face any adversity situation instead of right away entering a state of flight or fight or freeze, faint, fawn, or frown, for that matter. So hope this could help you somehow. So feel free to think about it, and if it happens during your sessions, see if you can implement this and how your sessions might differ this time. So thank you for listening, and see you in other videos next times.